Hi, this is Peter Godinez, your ambassador with K80Y TV with Good Morning Oxnard. And again, one of my favorite topics and segments is my time with the infamous, the famous, with no introduction needed, George Miller of Citizens Journal US. And he's going to tell you some things that normal media doesn't cover. So tell us what it's all about.
Good morning, Peter.
Good morning.
All right. Good morning, Oxnard. Or is it
Wake up! It's rain today.
Right. Well, about the most fun thing we did last week was to go to the Fort Hueneme Banana Festival.
Banana, B-N-N-A-N-A-S, right?
I had never been to one, had no idea what to expect.
Surprise,
It
surprise.
blew me away. It was really, really excellent. Now I go to all different kinds of festivals around town, and it's usually the same formula. You go there, there's a whole bunch of booths, they're all selling something, whether it's an idea or a product, it's usually crowded. This had all those, but it had some other things as well. First of all, the venue that was there to celebrate is the only deep-water port between Los Angeles and San Francisco. And it's a multi-billion-dollar operation that drives a lot of jobs and a lot of money in this community. So the real purpose of the festival was to promote the port and its customers. Now, the people that ship things in and out of the port are national name brands. Chiquita Banana, Del Monte, Dole, BMW, Jaguar, all different types of products that go through. In fact, this is the largest facility for handling bananas on the West Coast, right? And I didn't know it, but we also export cars, would you believe, to Japan and other places in Asia.
Wow.
Honda, Nissan, and one other company, Toyota, yeah, that little company, Toyota, actually export cars that are only made in the U.S. to points in Asia.
Interesting.
Very interesting indeed.
Well, we are a global
We are a global,
society.
and also strawberries and lemons and things like that are also exported through the port as well. So it's definitely big business. The highlight of the day for me was the harbor water tour. And it was interesting because one of the local boats, the Coraloma from Oxnard, ran the tours. It's a fishing boat, and they pack about 80 or 100 people onto each tour. They would take us all around the harbor, and we could see that the harbor is not just commercial shipping, but it's also a very big military port.
Interesting.
The U.S. Navy has several ships there that are all for testing and training purposes. They have an old destroyer there which is used for attack simulation, defense simulation. They have ships that are target ships. They have landing craft there. They also have an assault practice ship as well. And then they have oil spill protection ships there as well, and a couple of commercial vessels for oil industry service as well. And then we also visited the old lighthouse, which is no longer used in the era of radar and GPS, but it's now been made into a neat little Coast Guard museum, and the docents there are the local volunteer Coast Guard auxiliary.
I'm sure it's quite a sight.
Right, and then we had two very good mans there, and of course the usual excellent food. And I actually had my lunch at the Tomas Cafe booth that was there. That's where we used to have our show until very recently. Okay, on to more serious things. As I mentioned last week, the new city manager, Greg Nighthawk, is in the midst of a major reorganization of the city. And we announced last week that it started off with a new HR manager. Karen Burnham, who was formerly the acting city manager, is now the personnel manager. Well, he announced some more changes this week. Probably the biggest one was a split up of the Public Works Department into two departments.
Interesting.
And the reason he gave for that is that the existing management was just stretched too thin. We have enormous challenges in water because of the drought and also developmental problems and major projects such as the Great Water Program and building up capacity, and also the wastewater system, which has a huge amount of deferred maintenance. I'm talking like over $100 million. So city manager and city council felt it was a good idea to make that a separate department to focus on the water issues. And Mr. Roshanian is now heading up the streets function, and he's now reporting to general services. So that's probably the biggest single reorganization. Second part is a little bit softer. They're bringing in a lot of private industry concepts of teamwork management. And Greg Nighthawk mentioned he wants to eliminate what he calls functional silos, where departments focused only on their own mission, and there wasn't so much synergy between departments, and they're trying to train people to eliminate that and create more of a teamwork approach. One thing I saw that was a deficiency in the organization is when the smoke clears, Greg has 12 people reporting directly to him, which is a lot for a city manager. A lot lot of big functions. He may be spread a little bit thin, especially considering that Karen is now in HR, is no longer one of his assistants to help run the city, but she's one of the most knowledgeable people there. So I guess he'll be they're recruiting someone to replace her. Now the other interesting thing is that he brought in 2 major consulting firms to help him with this work. He can't do it all himself, so he brought one firm, Management Partners, that he had used with great success in his prior position, where he really has a relationship. And there was a long, interesting debate about the wisdom of doing that, but the bottom line is it allows him to hit the ground running a little bit better to accomplish that. And 2 principals from the consulting firm were there last night to make the presentations and outline how they intend to do, assist with the city reorganization, which involves 3 phases. The first one of which is to try to improve the policies, procedures, organization, to build a strong foundation to create accountability and performance. The second is to actually improve customer service to city residents. And the third and final level, which may take a couple of years, is future visioning, to be able to plan for what's going to happen 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now. Well, that's kind of in a nutshell what the reorganization was all about. That took up most of last night's special meeting, which was called mainly for that particular purpose. The other thing we talked about last night was the golf course, the city golf course, the River Ridge Golf Course. It's a beautiful facility if you've ever been there. It's built right in the middle of the River Ridge development, and it's very scenic. The residents love it. It's the reason a lot of them move there. Unfortunately, it's a big, big money loser, well over $1 million every year. So after about 6 previous debates, the City Council hired the National Golf Association to do a survey of the course. And let me tell you, this guy did a bang-up job on the report, which you could read by going to the Oxnard City Council website and downloading his report. But basically, in a nutshell, what he said is that golf as a sport is not growing right now. It's actually declining. There's a few reasons for that. First of all, the lingering effects of the recession, which is still very much going on. Average income is down. People don't have as much time and money to go golfing. And golfing is not a cheap sport. By the time you pay for the green fees and golf carts and equipment and everything else, you can drop quite a bit of money every day. Now, believe it or not, the River Ridge Golf Course is one of the most successful in the country in terms of revenue. The average revenue for a municipal golf course is about $1.5 million. What do you think ours is? Like $4.5 million. Okay, right. Now it's actually 2 golf courses, it's 36 holes, which helps a lot. But it actually does about 40% less business in terms of rounds of golf play than the Ventura course, which has about the same revenue because they charge less per round. And they also have money that they take in through banquets and stuff like that. So he had a number of recommendations, and there was a lot of dispute about the recommendation. The bottom line is he thought we should do some improvements in marketing, changing the golf course layout itself, taking a lot of the stuff out of cultivation and letting it go back to wild to save water, because water is a major problem right now. But he also suggested that we invest another $3.5 million in the golf course, and that went over like a lead balloon, because we already owe $20 million on the golf course, which amounts to $1.277 million a year just in interest charges, which is the main reason the course is losing money now rather than making money. The other problem we have is it's built on a toxic waste dump, which means we really can't easily sell it, and it creates all kinds of maintenance problems because of settlement and different things you have to do with toxic waste sites, which seemed like a brilliant idea at the time they built the course, but maybe in retrospect not. So if you'd like to read the report, go online, Google the Oxnard City Council, and go in there and read it and see what's going on. But there are a couple of plans on the table to try to pay down the debt and reduce its interest expense, which could change things along with better marketing. Now, one thing that is interesting, in the last year, the revenues have gone up 7.7%, which is significant. But unfortunately, expenses have also gone up, too. Tonight, probably after most of you see this, as I mentioned last week, we have a debate of city council and mayoral candidates at City Hall at 7 p.m. I announced this last week, so you have no excuse not to be there. Right? We had one in the previous week, which was a video tape by Dan Pinedo of OMAC. That's online now on Citizens Journal, as is the one from September 18th. There'll be another debate right down here at the street at the Elks Club on the 8th at 5 p.m. So citizens have no excuse not to find out what your city council candidates are all about, to try to make a more informed decision You are voting, of course, I hope, right? Okay. And the last thing I want to talk about, and I wouldn't even, not even known about this last night if the Police Athletic League director hadn't sent 3 beautiful, tough female boxers down to City Hall to promote the fact that the National PAL Boxing Championships are going on right now as we speak.
Wow.
Over at the PAL gym at the old Oxnard High School, 350 South K Street. Basically, they're doing practicing and warm-up right now, and at noon every day until 10 p.m., bouts will go from now, actually from yesterday, to Saturday night. So I don't think it costs anything. You can go over there, you can actually see national championships. All 3 of the beautiful young ladies that were there last night are national champions multiple times, a Pan-American champion. One even won an Olympic medal as well. So these are world-class people right here in little old Oxnard. You can go see them free, I think. So go on over there and do that right now. On that note, any other questions?
No, I have no questions.
Okay.
You know, what's really just beneficial about this, because I've sat through city council meetings, and they're long. I mean, what's the latest you've ever actually been
Until
to?
about 1:30 or 2 o'clock.
And so they're long, but here at KADY TV, you get like kind of a summary, a cliff notes of what
Cliff notes, that's a
actually
good
took
analogy.
place.
Cliff
So,
notes.
you know, if you don't feel like you want to invest, the 3 to 4 to 5 hours, you can just watch George Miller.
I
and
think,
just let it
I think
go.
that every resident should go to at least a few meetings, just to get a feel for
There you
who is
go.
running the city and what the real issues are. I'll tell you, I only went to 2 city council meetings since I lived in Oxnard. I moved here in 2007. Until I joined Citizens Journal, and when we made the assignments, we realized, hey, we have no one to cover Oxnard. George is gonna have to do it.
George is
He lives
going to
in
go.
Oxnard.
Hey, and I do have a question. Did they actually sell bananas at the Banana Festival?
No, they gave them away.
They gave them
they
away.
Del Monte had a booth, you just come up and take a banana. Now, the pineapple thing was a little tougher. You had to win a game of skill. You had to throw something into
Oh, I would
a
never
bowl
got-
to
I would
win
never got a
pineapples.
banana.
I guess they didn't have as many pineapples, so they had to erect a higher barrier to possession than that.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you, George. Again, this is Peter Godinez, your ambassador, KADY TV. Until next time.